The Good Morning America studio was electric with anticipation as Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, stepped onto the set, her poised smile masking the weight of her return to American television. Dressed in a chic green blazer, she radiated confidence, ready to discuss her new Netflix project and her Archewell Foundation's latest initiatives. George Stephanopoulos, the seasoned anchor known for his incisive interviews, greeted her warmly, the audience applauding as she settled into her chair. The interview began on a high note, with Meghan sharing heartfelt stories about her children, Archie and Lilibet, and her passion for empowering women through philanthropy. Her charm was undeniable, her responses polished yet warm, drawing smiles from the crowd. George nodded along, asking about her transition from royal life to Hollywood producer, and Meghan spoke candidly about carving out a new path. But the mood shifted as George steered the conversation toward more sensitive terrain: her fractured relationship with the royal family and the media's relentless scrutiny. The audience leaned in, sensing the undercurrent of tension, as Meghan's smile tightened, her hands clasped firmly in her lap. George, with his trademark calm, pressed further, referencing recent tabloid claims about her influence over Prince Harry's decisions to step back from royal duties. "Meghan, some say you're the driving force behind Harry's choices. How do you respond to that narrative?" he asked, his tone measured but probing. The question hung in the air, the studio quiet, as Meghan's eyes flickered with a mix of resolve and irritation. The exchange took a sharp turn when George brought up a specific article alleging Meghan had orchestrated a media war against the royals, citing unnamed palace sources. "Is there truth to this idea that you're strategically shaping the narrative?" he asked, leaning forward. The audience gasped softly, sensing the personal jab. Meghan's composure cracked, her voice steady but laced with steel. "George, I'm disappointed you'd give air to that kind of gossip," she said, her gaze unwavering. "Harry and I made our choices together, for our family's well-being, not to wage some imagined war." The crowd murmured, some nodding in support, others whispering in surprise. George, undeterred, pushed further, his tone still polite but pointed. "But you can't deny the headline as your every move seems to spark a reaction. Is that intentional?" The question landed like a spark, igniting Meghan's frustration. "What's intentional is our work, our foundation, our family," she shot back, her voice rising slightly. "What's exhausting is the media's obsession with twisting our lives into a soap opera." The tension was palpable, the audience caught between admiration for her candor and shock at the brewing confrontation. George tried to pivot, mentioning her Netflix project again, but Meghan's patience was wearing thin, her posture stiffening as she gripped the armrests, her frustration simmering just below the surface. Then came the moment that would set social media ablaze. George, perhaps aiming to lighten the mood, made a quip about the royal family's silence. "Well, the palace isn't exactly sending you Christmas cards, are they?" The audience laughed nervously, but Meghan's face darkened, her eyes flashing with indignation. "That's a low blow, George," she said, her voice sharp and controlled. "I came here to talk about my work, not to be mocked about personal matters you know are painful." The studio fell silent, the weight of her words sinking in. Before George could respond, Meghan stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. "I'm done with this," she declared, ripping off her mic and tossing it onto the seat. The audience gasped, some clapping in solidarity, others stunned as she strode off the set, her heels clicking in the heavy silence. George, visibly rattled, tried to salvage the moment with a weak smile, saying, "Well, we'll take a quick break," as the cameras cut to commercial. Within minutes, clips of the clash flooded X, with hashtags like #MeghanWalksOut and #Macklash trending globally. Supporters praised her for standing up to what they called George's loaded questions, while critics labeled her exit a diva move, reigniting debates about her relationship with the media. The incident became a lightning rod, exposing the raw nerve of Meghan's ongoing battle for control over her narrative in a world eager to dissect her every move. Backstage, chaos erupted as producers scrambled to manage the fallout, their headsets buzzing with urgent directives. Meghan, flanked by her team, retreated to a green room, her face a mix of anger and resolve as she checked her phone, already flooded with messages from Harry and close friends. "I shouldn't have trusted this format," she said, her voice low, frustration evident as she paced the small space. Her team reassured her that the walkout was a bold stand against media overreach, but Meghan was unconvinced, aware that the incident would fuel weeks of tabloid fodder. Outside, the GMA audience was abuzz, some chanting her name in support, others whispering about her dramatic exit. Social media exploded, with ex-posts dissecting every frame of the confrontation. "Meghan just showed George what happens when you push too far, Queen energy," one user wrote, garnering thousands of likes. Others were less kind. "She can't handle a tough question." Typical Meghan, storming off when it gets real. News outlets pounced, with headlines screaming Meghan Markle storms off GMA after tense clash, and Duchess ditches interview in explosive exit. The incident reignited familiar narratives, with some accusing Meghan of playing the victim, while others saw George's questions as deliberately provocative, designed to elicit a reaction for ratings. George Stephanopoulos, a veteran journalist accustomed to navigating high-stakes interviews, faced immediate scrutiny. In the production booth, his team debated how to address the incident when the show resumed, aware that the clash could dent GMA's reputation for balanced reporting. George had misjudged Meghan's threshold, assuming she'd weather his probing with her usual polish, but the personal jab about the royal family had crossed a line. When the broadcast returned, George addressed the audience with a measured tone. "We regret if our conversation upset Meghan. She's doing incredible work, and we wish her the best." The apology, though sincere, did little to quell the online storm, with critics on X accusing him of baiting Meghan for clicks. George knew exactly what he was doing. One post read, "He wanted the drama, and he got it." Others defended him, arguing that tough questions were part of his job. "Meghan signed up for a live interview while she should have been ready," another user countered. Behind the scenes, GMA producers fielded calls from reporters, while rumors swirled that ABC executives were concerned about alienating viewers who sympathized with Meghan. The clash also sparked broader discussions about the media's treatment of high-profile women, with some commentators noting that Meghan faced a level of scrutiny rarely applied to her male counterparts. 3. The aftermath of Meghan's walkout tripled across the media landscape, becoming a cultural touchstone that fueled endless analysis. Morning shows, podcasts, and op-eds dissected the clash, with some praising Meghan's defiance as a powerful rejection of media sensationalism. "She's not here to play their game," a supporter wrote on X, echoing a sentiment shared by fans who saw her exit as a stand for dignity. Others, however, viewed it as a misstep, arguing that her abrupt departure reinforced perceptions of her as overly sensitive. "If you can't handle George Stephanopoulos, how do you handle the global stage?" a pundit quipped on MSNBC. The incident cast a shadow over Meghan's upcoming Netflix project, with some speculating it could affect the show's reception, while others predicted it would boost interest among her loyal fan base. The royal family, predictably, remained silent, though palace sources leaked vague comments about disappointment over Meghan's public spat, further fueling tabloid narratives. On X, the debate raged, with users posting slowed-down clips of Meghan's body language, analyzing the exact moment her patience snapped. Hashtags like #MeghanStrong and #GMADrama trended alongside memes, some mocking George's stunned expression, others depicting Meghan as a queen storming out of a battlefield. Meghan and Harry, back in Montecito, regrouped with their team, strategizing how to navigate the fallout. Meghan was shaken but resolute, determined not to let the incident derail her work. Through Archewell, they issued a statement reaffirming their commitment to authentic storytelling, subtly addressing the clash without dwelling on it. Friends close to the couple revealed Meghan felt betrayed by George, whom she'd expected to be a fair interviewer, not a provocateur. "She's tired of being the media's punching bag," one source told People magazine. The clash also prompted soul-searching within GMA's ranks, with producers reportedly re-evaluating their approach to celebrity interviews. George, meanwhile, faced criticism for what some called a gotcha moment, though his defenders argued he was simply doing his job. The incident highlighted the tightrope Meghan walked as a public figure, celebrated by some as a trailblazer, Vilified by others as a lightning rod for controversy, her walkout became a symbol of her refusal to conform to media expectations, but it also underscored the challenges of maintaining her narrative in a world eager to exploit her every move. As weeks passed, the GMA clash solidified its place in pop culture, a moment that encapsulated the fraught dynamics between celebrities, journalists, and the public. Meghan's supporters rallied around her, organizing online campaigns to promote her Netflix project and counter what they called unfair media attacks. Meghan stood up to a system that's been trying to tear her down for years, one ex-post declared, resonating with younger audiences who admired her resilience. Critics, however, used the incident to double down on old narratives, painting her as manipulative or overly dramatic. "She thrives on chaos," one tabloid headline blared, recycling familiar tropes about her influence over Harry. The clash also sparked a broader reckoning about morning shows, with commentators questioning whether hosts like George were leaning too heavily into sensationalism to compete with streaming platforms. GMA's ratings spiked in the immediate aftermath, proof that controversy drives viewership, but some viewers expressed fatigue with a gotcha format. "Maybe it's time for real conversations, not ambushes," a viewer tweeted, summing up a growing sentiment. For Meghan, the walkout was both a setback and a catalyst. She channeled her energy into her work, with Archewell announcing new initiatives focused on mental health and media literacy, subtly addressing the themes of her GMA experience. Harry, ever her staunchest ally, publicly praised her courage, telling a close friend, "She's stronger than anyone gives her credit for." The couple's inner circle, including allies like Oprah and Tyler Perry, offered support, urging Meghan to keep pushing forward. Meanwhile, George Stephanopoulos navigated his own fallout, with reports suggesting he privately regretted the tone of the interview. GMA issued no formal apology beyond George's on-air statement, but the incident prompted internal discussions about guest vetting and questioned boundaries. The clash left a lasting mark, a reminder of the high stakes of live television and the power of a single moment to reshape public perception. For Meghan, it was another chapter in her ongoing fight for respect and authenticity, a battle she waged with every step, even as she walked away from the GMA set. The world watched, divided yet captivated, waiting to see what the Duchess would do next.